Hey everyone, ready to talk about weight loss? I know, another weight loss conversation. But this time, it's going to be different, I promise. We're taking a deep dive into this podcast episode called Sustainable Strategies for Effective Weight Loss. And honestly, it had some pretty surprising stuff in it. Like, did you know sleep and stress can totally mess with your weight loss goals?
Yeah, so many people think it's all about finding that magic bullet, that one weird trick. But honestly, it's about so much more than just how you look, right? It's got to be about feeling good, having energy, just overall health,
For sure. So where do we even begin? This episode talked about the whole calories in, calories out thing. But I got to admit, that always felt a little, basic to me.
Right. It is a fundamental principle. You do need to burn more calories than you're eating to lose weight, but it's way more nuanced than that. You don't need to starve yourself. It's about making good food choices and finding ways to boost your metabolism.
Okay, so not just cutting calories, but cutting the right calories. That makes sense. So the episode was really big on ditching those crash diets and focusing on a total nutrition makeover, right?
Absolutely. Those fad diets, they just don't work long term. And honestly, they can really mess up your metabolism and your relationship with food. It's about finding what works for you, a lifestyle you can stick with, not just some crazy diet for a few weeks.
So what does that actually look like? The episode mentioned focusing on whole foods. Is that the magic secret?
It's a great place to start. Think fruits and veggies, lean proteins, the good stuff. These foods are packed with nutrients and fibers, so they keep you feeling full longer. Plus, they just make you feel good, like you're taking care of yourself.
Right, fueling your body the right way. Sometimes, though, I feel hungry, even after eating a healthy meal. What's up with that?
That's where hydration comes in. You wouldn't believe how often we mix up thirst with hunger. Make sure you're drinking enough water. Aim for those 8 glasses a day. It can really make a difference.
That's a good point. I'm definitely guilty of not drinking enough water. The episode also talked about portion control, even using apps like MyFitnessPal. Do you think those are helpful?
They can be, especially if you're just starting to pay attention to what you're eating.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to see how those calories add up. Apps like that can help you, be more aware of your portion sizes and make smarter choices. But it's important to use them as a tool, not a rule book. Eventually, you want to just listen to your body and know when you're full,
Yeah, that makes sense. I've tried those apps before, but it felt like I was just obsessing over numbers all the time. Maybe I'll give it another go with that new perspective. Okay, so we've got healthy eating, portion control. What about exercise? Do I need to be living at the gym to see results?
Definitely not. This episode is all about moving your body in ways you actually enjoy. It doesn't need to be some crazy workout every day. It's about just getting more movement into your life, finding things you can stick with.
So what kind of movement are we talking about here?
Ideally, a good mix of cardio and strength training is the way to go. Cardio, walking, swimming, dancing, that kind of stuff helps you burn calories, and it's good for your heart. And strength training builds muscle, which not only makes you look toned, but also helps you burn more calories even when you're just chilling.
Love that. But honestly, sometimes I can barely find time to breathe, let alone get a workout in. How am I supposed to fit in cardio and strength training?
Well, you might be surprised how much movement you actually already do in your day-to-day life. This episode talked about something called NEAT.
NEAT? What's that?
It stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which sounds super complicated, but it's basically all the calories you burn outside of your planned workouts. Think taking the stairs instead of the elevator, walking the dog, even just fidgeting. All that little stuff adds up.
Wow, so those little things really do make a difference. So I can ditch the gym and just pace around my office all day.
Hold on, not quite. While that NEAT stuff is important, you still got to do those dedicated workouts, especially if you want to build muscle and, actually get stronger. The point is, you don't have to be a marathon runner to see results. Just find some movement you like and do it consistently.
Okay, I can get on board with that. So we've got the food, the movement. Now for the really interesting part, the episode talked about the link between sleep, stress, and weight gain. Now that was news to me. How can not getting enough sleep or being stressed out actually make you gain weight?
It's pretty crazy, right? When you don't sleep enough, your body makes more of this hormone called ghrelin, which makes you feel hungry, and it makes less of leptin, the hormone that tells you you're full. So basically, you're hungrier and you don't feel as satisfied after eating.
So it's not just that I'm reaching for the ice cream because I'm tired and cranky. It's my hormones are actually driving those cravings.
Exactly. And it's not just the cravings. Not getting enough sleep can mess with your metabolism too, making it harder to burn those calories.
Wow, I had no idea. What about stress? How does that fit into all of this?
Chronic stress, like always being on edge, releases this hormone called cortisol. And cortisol can actually make your body store more belly fat. It's like your body's way of trying to protect itself, but in today's world where everyone's stressed all the time, it can really sabotage your weight loss goals.
So even if I'm doing everything else right, eating healthy, exercising, getting enough sleep, if I'm stressed out, it can still work against me.
It's tricky. Weight management isn't just about one or two things. You got to think about all aspects of your well-being, including stress.
Okay, now I'm starting to get the bigger picture. It's not just about willpower. It's about understanding how our minds and bodies actually work.
Exactly. And that's what's so cool about this episode. It gives you the knowledge and tools to make real lasting changes that actually work for you.
This is seriously eye-opening stuff. We'll be right back to keep diving into this whole thing, especially the power of mindset and finding those practical strategies to make real changes that last. Welcome back. So before the break, we were talking about how stress can actually make us gain weight. I know for me, when I'm stressed, it's straight to the comfort food, but I never realized there's actual hormones involved too.
Oh yeah, for sure. And those comfort foods, right? They're usually packed with sugar and fat and all the stuff that, kind of makes the problem worse.
So what can we even do about it? The episode talked about stress management stuff, but I don't know, I'm not really seeing how that connects to losing weight.
Okay, so think of it this way. When you're stressed, your body goes into fight or flight mode, right? Your cortisol levels go up, your heart's racing, and your body starts storing fat like it's trying to, conserve energy. It's like a totally primal thing. But these days, we're always stressed. So it ends up, making us gain weight, especially around the belly.
So stress isn't just bad for our, mental health, it's messing with our waistlines too.
Exactly. So finding healthy ways to manage stress is super important, not just for feeling good, but for actually reaching your weight loss goal.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what are some of those healthy ways to manage stress? I'm guessing meditation is up there.
Meditation's definitely a good one. It's been shown to lower cortisol levels and help you relax. Even just a few minutes a day can make a difference.
I've tried meditation before, but honestly, I get so distracted. Are there other things that, might work better?
Totally. Yoga's great, or deep breathing exercises, spending time in nature, listening to music, journaling. It's all about finding what works for you, and making it part of your routine.
And I like that. It's not about adding another thing to your to-do list. It's about finding little moments of peace in your day.
Exactly. And it doesn't need to be complicated. Even just taking 5 minutes to just sit and breathe can be super helpful.
This is all making so much sense now. It's we're finally getting to the root of the problem instead of just focusing on the number on the scale.
Right. It's about taking a more holistic approach, looking at the whole picture and making, sustainable changes that support your well-being, on every level.
Okay, so we've talked about food, movement, sleep, stress. Mm-hmm. Anything else we got to know about?
Oh yeah, there's one more big one. Mindset. It's not enough to just know what to do. You got to believe we can do it, and have the mental tools to actually stay on track.
That's so true. I've started and stopped a million weight loss journeys because I just didn't have the, mental stamina to keep going.
That's super common. That's why setting realistic goals is so important. This episode talks about SMART goals. Have you heard of those?
I think so, yeah. But a refresher never hurts.
Okay, so SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So instead of just saying I want to lose weight, you say, I'm going to walk for 30 minutes 3 times a week for the next month.
Okay, so you break it down into smaller, more manageable steps.
Right.
And I guess tracking your progress helps too, right?
For sure. Tracking keeps you accountable and helps you see how far you've come. You can use a journal, an app, whatever works for you. And don't forget to celebrate those non-scale victories.
Non-scale victories, what are those?
It's about recognizing progress that's not just about the number on the scale,
Yeah.
Maybe your clothes fit better, you've got more energy, you're sleeping better, or you just feel more confident.
Oh, I love that. It's about how you feel rather than just how you look.
Yeah.
And speaking of support, the episode mentioned how important it is to have a good support system. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, totally. Having people to support you on your journey can make a huge difference. It could be a friend, family member, or an online community, even a coach or therapist. Having someone to share your goals with, keep you accountable, and just, cheer you on can really help you stay motivated.
Yeah, I totally get that. It's easy to feel like alone and discouraged when you're trying to make these changes, especially if the people around you aren't, on the same page.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to surround yourself with people who get it and are rooting for you.
Yeah.
It creates that sense of community and accountability that can really help.
So we've talked about setting realistic goals, tracking our progress, celebrating those non-scale victories, and finding a supportive community. What about those common pitfalls that can totally sabotage our efforts? The episode mentioned a few.
Oh yeah, there are definitely some traps to watch out for. One of the biggest ones is skipping meals. You might think it's a good way to cut calories, but it can actually backfire big time.
I've totally been there. I used to think if I skip breakfast, I'll eat less overall. But then I'd just be starving by lunchtime and end up eating way more.
Yep. When you skip meals, your body goes into starvation mode. Your metabolism slows down and it makes it harder to burn calories. Plus, you're way more likely to make unhealthy choices when you're super hungry.
So consistent, balanced meals are key, even if it feels counterintuitive sometimes. What other pitfalls should we be aware of?
Another common one is over-restricting.
Like cutting out entire food groups or doing those crazy restrictive diets?
Yeah, exactly. It's good to make healthy choices, but if you're too restrictive, it can lead to intense cravings, binge eating, and just, an unhealthy relationship with food.
So it's about finding that balance, like you said, enjoying your favorite foods in moderation without feeling deprived. What's the last pitfall we should be on the lookout for?
Ignoring your hunger cues. We eat for so many reasons that aren't actual hunger, boredom, stress, emotions, even social pressure. Learning to actually listen to your body and tell the difference between real hunger and emotional eating is super important.
Yeah. It's we've been trained to ignore those signals our bodies are sending us. We eat because it's time to eat or because everyone else is eating, even if we're not actually hungry.
Totally. Getting back in touch with your body's natural hunger and fullness cues is a huge part of building a healthy relationship with food, and it's key to achieving sustainable weight loss.
This has been so eye-opening. It feels like we've gone way beyond just typical weight loss advice and really gotten into the science and the psychology behind it all.
And that's the whole point, right? Understanding the why behind what empowers you to make those lasting changes.
We'll be back in just a sec to wrap up our deep dive and really explore what it means to, embark on a sustainable weight loss journey. It's funny, right? We always talk about weight loss it's this, finish line. Once you hit that magic number on the scale, then you've made it.
Yeah.
But after this episode, I don't know, I'm kind of seeing it differently. It's more about the journey, isn't it?
Totally. It's got to be about creating a lifestyle you actually enjoy, one that supports your health and well-being long-term, not just a quick fix to fit into a smaller size.
Yeah. And that means focusing on progress, not perfection. Some days you might slip up, maybe eat a little more than you planned or skip a workout. That's okay. Right. It's all part of it.
It's going to happen. We're all human. The important thing is to not let those, little slip-ups totally derail you. Just acknowledge them, learn from them, and keep going.
It's all about building those healthy habits, like you said before, one step at a time.
Yeah.
So for someone who's listening to all of this and feeling kind of overwhelmed, where would you even suggest they start?
I'd say start small. Pick one thing you want to focus on, maybe drinking more water or adding more veggies to your meals, or even just going for a short walk each day. Once that feels like a habit, then add something else. You'll be surprised how much progress you can make without feeling totally overwhelmed.
That's a good point. We don't need to change everything overnight. Small changes, but consistent ones. Those are what really make the difference in the long run.
Exactly. And remember, it's a journey, not a race, right? Be patient with yourself, celebrate those wins, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
I think that's a really important message.
Yeah.
This whole deep dive has been so insightful. Seriously, it's given us a whole new understanding of what sustainable weight loss actually means. It's about nourishing our bodies, moving in ways we enjoy, getting enough sleep, managing that stress, and just having a positive mindset. It's about taking care of ourselves, on every level.
Absolutely. And remembering that you deserve that care. You're worth it.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery. We hope this deep dive has given you the tools and knowledge to create real lasting changes that support your health and happiness.
And remember, every step you take, no matter how small, it's a victory. Keep moving forward, one day at a time.